But I am excited to be able to talk about something near and dear to my heart tonight, and that is the single adult program in the church. I have been a part of this, let's just say longer than I've wanted to be. But it is what it is, right? I am so very grateful for this inspired program that we have in the church. I am very grateful for the guidelines that we have, and for all that it entails, so that you know where I'm coming from a little bit. I am a little biased to this program. I really do enjoy it. I have the assignment right now, and have had for the last few years, of being the Atlanta regional rep, if you will, of the Atlanta area. We have 2 different missions that we cover. So we cover the North and South Atlanta missions. There are 12 stakes involved, and I work with the stake reps in those stakes, and we implement and execute a program, plan and execute a program here in Atlanta. And it's a lot of fun. Love working with those people. They're just some of my best friends, and they're just fabulous people to work with. But tonight, I wanted to talk about the program itself. And I was saying earlier, I don't know if you guys were on when I was saying this, but it always seems like whenever I'm trying to do something that's good, there's like opposition coming at me, right? So any other time, like I have referred to the single adult handbook from the church over and over and over, multiple times throughout the years. Go to pull it up tonight, because you can only get it online. And my computer's all wonky with it. It's just that one site, though. It's not like everything else. So anyway, okay. So we're going to go by my memory, unless one of you just happened to be able to pull that up. You can just Google, and you probably still Google LDS and then Single Adult Handbook. It's 16.1, Ministering to Single Adults. Or if you want to, Church of Jesus Christ, whatever you want to Google. But anyway, that's how I usually get it. I even tried finding other links from other areas I know. Not there. Anyway, so few ground rules for tonight in us discussing this, because I want this to be an open discussion. I do want you to be able to express your feelings freely about the program. I want you to tell us what you like, what you don't like. I want you to think of it kind of like a rose, right? So with the rose, we have the thorns, things we don't really like, right? We'd rather not have those. We have the stem that kind of supports it and holds it up. So things that we do need, right? And then we have the petals that bloom and provide the fragrance. So that would be things that we like, right? So if you can just kind of think of it like that, and we do want you to just be as tactful as possible. And a few ground rules I like to establish here is we don't want any bashing. I don't want you to be bashing your leaders. I don't want you to be bashing other single adult reps or other single adults. I definitely don't want you bashing men. I don't want you bashing women. There's no generalities here. I don't want to hear all women do this and all men do that, because that's just not true. We're all unique, trust me. And then I do also want to just put up front, I don't want to have a discussion about singles wards. That's beyond my jurisdiction. I don't have any leadership. I don't have any keys over that. So we just want to talk about the program itself, and the purpose of the single adult program. And the purpose of the single adult program is, the opinions of that anyway are wide and varied. But let me tell you what the handbook says, from what I can remember, because I can't pull up the thing. But from what I can remember, we need to provide activities that provide gospel learning, service opportunities, and sociality beyond what our wards provide. If I'm missing anything, let me know. But that's the gist of it. We run on committees that is very leniently worded so that it can be ran however your stake presidency wants you to run them. Okay? Some people still run it the old way, like we do in Atlanta, where we have stake reps and ward reps. Some people do it other ways, where I know, like in Charlotte, they have a very good functioning committee, from what I understand anyway. Looks good from where I'm sitting. They actually have married couples on that committee. They have the high councilman, and they have other people, and they do have some single adults on that committee as well. and it works for them. So it's just the way that it's worded in the handbook is that it's just up to the stake president how they want to run. Okay, so so just so you know, going into that, if you feel like your committee is not being ran a certain way, that's why. It says it's because the stake president deemed, hey, this is the way they feel like that it needs to be ran. Okay, so let's go ahead and kick off the call. And if you're new to joining us, if you want to speak, we ask that, number one, you stay on topic if you can, as much as possible. And I'm speaking to myself too, because I go off on tangents. Also, you know, and then we want you to just unmute yourself when you want to talk. You don't necessarily have to raise your hand, just unmute yourself and just kind of kick in there. If you do not want to be upfront and personal with us, because I'm just going to put everybody up here tonight, just let me know and I'll have you be more in the background, okay? But it's totally up to you. So what I'd like, and if you're on the phone, I see that we got one person on the phone. I don't know how to unmute the person on the phone, but if you do, I think it's *6, I'm not sure, but if you want to, give your opinion or whatever, you're more than welcome to do that. All right, so what I'd like for you to do at this point is, number one, share with me any opinions that you'd like of the single adult program, and then also things you like, things you don't like, things you would like to see, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to open it up for a forum here real quick. I know we're kind of early in this, but as long as we're all following those little guidelines, we're good. Otherwise, I will use my authority, if you will, and I'll mute you if you start bashing. Ain't gonna have no bashing. Okay. So anyone want to start off here with what you like, don't like, any ideas you have? Nothing.
I like, Paula, what I like especially is that you do all the work.
I make that look good because that don't happen.
Well,
I'll tell you now.
I like it because you tell everybody what to do and I don't have to think about it.
You're so funny, Fred. Actually, believe it or not, the committee that I work with have just some fabulous ideas, and they are coming up with way more than what I do. I more just lead the committee and give them a forum just to come in and bring in their strengths and do what they do best. I do have ideas, and it does help that I am an event planner, but it's just more of a thing of bringing in what they do well. And we mesh really well, which is really good. And something that I've learned on a committee level is when we accept someone's best as good enough, they're going to thrive. And what I mean by that is their best isn't necessarily going to be my best, right? So everybody brings to the table what they can. And let that be good enough. And let them thrive where they're at. And celebrate them for it. And that's something that I am good at. I am good at making sure that, or at least I think I am. I hope I am. I hope my people feel appreciated. Is to feel appreciated by me because they put in some time. They put in some hours. They really do devote a lot of effort to what they do, to pull off what they do. You just see me more because I'm out there PRing. I'm out there advertising and doing the Facebook Lives or whatever. But yeah, but I'll tell you, they do way more work than I do. They're awesome. But thank you, Fred. They make me look good. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hey, one of the things that I really like about the program is that we are able to participate in those things that we want to, and we can choose not to when we don't want to. It kind of is counterproductive, but I think that we are all in different levels of healing and that kind of thing. And so some activities are going to be easier for us to comfortably participate in, And I love that, especially down in Atlanta. I'm a little bit jealous about down there. I'm, wanting to move down there or whatever, but we don't have a lot going on in Virginia right now. And that's not always the case. It's just the case right now. And I would love that to change, but I can't change it myself. And right now that's not something that's going on. So I'm willing to make the drive down to participate with people that are wanting to participate. But you can pick and choose those things that you want or you feel comfortable doing. I love the fact that down there you guys have the temple, the monthly temple trips together and the meals together, and there's dances and all kinds of activities. But I don't know how y'all keep up with that schedule if you attend every single thing down there. Y'all have a lot going on, which I would make it work, but it would be tough.
Right.
So those are the things that I have noticed, that different areas are at different levels in their organization. And I feel like right now Atlanta seems to be really with it. And I appreciate that. It's a long drive, but I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. I will tell you, I got some inside information that Virginia has some newly called reps, and they had their first meeting today, and you might see some things happening pretty soon. That's kind of exciting, but I do appreciate what you said.
I will not be sad about that.
No, right? I do know that there are some people working on that one. So yeah. But I appreciate so much what you said, and I will tell you again. We actually, I'm what I call a energy conservationist. And that I try to keep things pretty easy, and it's really easy to schedule a temple trip. I don't have to do any setup. I don't do any cleanup, right? We just have to set up a time and say, hey, people, let's come together. We don't even have to set up a special endowment session or whatever for us. We just have to say, come on, let's go. And then as far as the dinner goes, we're meeting at a restaurant. We're big enough now, our group's big enough, we have to call ahead and go, do you have enough room for 30 people? Do you have enough room for 40 people? We actually, this one restaurant we got to, we actually get a room. They have like I don't know, some room that's doored off and whatever. They'll give us that room, which is kind of cool. But again, people are paying for their dinner. No setup, no cleanup for me. And when it comes to our dances and all, we do meet before the temple to decorate for the dance. And we've scheduled the building for that length of time so that we know no one else is coming in to do anything with that. But then we work together. We have a big enough committee to be able to do that. If it was just a stake, it would be a little challenging. I will tell you that much, because we do have the effort of all these stakes. I would say at least 8 stakes strongly are participating in our efforts, and everybody brings in and pitches in, so it's awesome. So yeah. All right. I love too that you brought up you have a choice, right? You have a choice. You can choose to come. You can choose not to come. Now, people will still give me their 2 cents worth on whether they think something is good or not good on whatever we're doing. And again, I keep, I a lot of times I'll go back to them with, you don't have to come, that's okay if it's not your thing. Would rather it was your thing, but because there's a lot of hours that we pour into planning for and setting up and whatever, even thinking about what we do. So we put in some time. And not everybody's comfortable with different things either, so I do appreciate you bringing that up. All right, anybody else? What you like, what you don't like, any ideas you might have?
I am like Jennifer. I'm jealous because I cannot go every Saturday or every time that you have an activity, but I think that I love your activities. I've been seeing all the photos and all that stuff, and I'm so far away, and it's really hard for me to drive over there. I just don't like that traffic.
Yeah, but Carmen, though, we always love it when you do get to come.
I'm sorry.
I said, we always love it when you do get to come.
Yeah, thank you. I love to go. I've been thinking about, should I move to Atlanta and work over there and live over there?
Oh,
But
wow.
it's true. There is more people out there that you can, relate with. And here we don't
Mm-hmm.
have that many, well, at least that I know.
Right. Yeah.
But that was all. Just to say thank you for your effort and for your work.
Oh, thank you. All right. Okay. I appreciate you guys loving this, but all right, Kelly.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Do I have to do anything particular for you to hear me or see me?
Nope, I can hear you and see you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate all that y'all have available. I appreciate being invited to Atlanta and Nashville and Chattanooga and being able to be involved in all that. I just moved back here from West Texas where there was nothing. It was pretty
Oh.
dry, except that's why I went all the way up to Nauvoo in October. But anyway, what I do like about this area where I am, which is not a huge group, but people take it upon themselves to create activities and events. And, it's not, I guess, church, I don't know where you'd say, I don't know.
Sponsored.
Anyway, yeah, it's sponsored. There you go. Anyway, just a temple trip. Okay, I'm, the one sister here went on and Facebook makes it so easy. Went on and said, hey, we're going to go to the temple the first Saturday or second Saturday or whatever of the month. Let's do this. If you're interested, let us know. And I think that's amazing. And I wish I'd thought of all these things when I was way out in the boondocks by myself. But anyway, that's just an idea that crossed my mind.
That's awesome. And Kelly, are you in Alabama?
Yes, in
Are you
Athens, Alabama, near Huntsville.
near Huntsville? Okay, yeah. Huntsville has a fabulous group. I love those people. They
Yeah,
join us
they're
a
awesome.
lot. They are.
Yeah, we went hiking on Green Mountain yesterday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because one of the things I have talked about in my previous webinars is whenever we hear people say, well, there's nothing happening in my area. And people who have been with me before, sorry, you're going to hear this again, but you can make a difference in your area. It only takes one person. I can tell you my story, but I ain't going to go through that again. You have to listen to previous webinars on that one. But one person can make a difference. One, that's all it takes. All you have to do is schedule something like what you just brought up, a temple trip, right? Let's go to the temple together. One thing that I suggest often is having a come follow me study group on a Sunday afternoon together. You can do that just within your ward or invite a couple other people from other wards if you share a building or whatever. If you want to invite your state, invite that. But keep it simple so you don't get overwhelmed with it. But a come follow me study group, a home evening group, by the handbook, they don't want us called into family home evening group, but whatever. An activity night, go to a movie, do something, because our goal here, what we've learned is, like, the Atlanta regional area has a lot of stuff going on, right? And we're an active committee and we're thriving, which is really exciting and fun to be a part of. But believe it or not, of the 10,000 plus single adults in the Atlanta area, we still have so many people that say, oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, you do that every second Saturday? I didn't know that you did that. In our own area. And we've been doing this for how many years, right? But they don't know about it. A lot of them are pretty new to being single and they just haven't heard. So what we've learned is that if you go from, sorry, this is going to be like some business stuff, top down, say from regional, trying to get to the state level, trying to get to the ward level, there's some miscommunication. We had a committee meeting, I don't know, sometime last year. High councilmen were on our committee meeting. We do this online a lot, just like this. And I asked them, I just said, so when I send you the email of all the events that are coming up and send you the newsletter or whatever, can you just let me know what you do with it? And I had a high councilman speak up and he said, well, Paula, I have created a folder in my email just for you. So all of your emails go to that folder. And I'm like, so you just put it directly into that folder? He goes, yeah. I said, so it doesn't go to the bishops, it doesn't go to the single adults? No. Like, okay. I appreciated his honesty, right? It let me know what was going on. So I had to, they didn't know. He just didn't know. And he didn't know what he didn't know, right? So I wasn't going to be upset with him and go, how dare you, whatever, right? It was more of a thing of, okay, well, here's what I need you to do with that. When I send you an email, I need you to forward that to the bishops in the stake. And I need you to forward that, if you would, or work with the stake rep or whatever, to forward that to the single adults in the stake. He's like, oh, okay. He just didn't know. And so now that's happening. So a lot of times it's communication. When we are working with other leaders, that is something that needs to happen. Now, going behind that, when he sends it out to the bishop or to the single adults or whatever, let's say he just sends it out to the bishops. Then it's up to the bishops of what to do with it. Are the bishops creating a single adult folder and letting it sit there? Do they go, oh, I don't have any single adults in my ward. I'm not going to worry about this right now. Or, oh, I've got other stuff. Or I don't know, maybe I'll forward this on to somebody else and then let them deal with it. But either way, what we're finding is when we go top down, if you will, there's a breakdown in communication. That's my point. So what we're finding is if you make a difference in creating what I call a nucleus within your ward, a group of friends you get together, I don't care if it's 2 or 3 people, you and one other person, form a little nucleus. And then you invite one other person, and then another person, and then another person. And maybe you've got 5 or 6 people. Maybe you've got 9 or 10. Maybe you're blessed to have more than that. I don't know. But either way, a group of people within your ward that are meeting together to come follow me. So you don't have to do it by yourself. That are coming together for a home evening group or an activity night or movie night or something where they feel like they're getting out and doing something. And then let's say this nucleus of friends, we're going to call you friends now, right? All come together and they all know each other and get to know each other and love hanging out together, right? Say 2 or 3 months down the road, they find out about this stake event or regional event or whatever is in your area. And you're going to be like, hey, you want to go to this? Sure, let's all go together. That is something I have found about the Huntsville people. They don't come one person. They come in, right? Like they've had their own table at our event, right? That is exactly what they have done, which is beautiful. They're a fabulous example of that. I'd love to see more people be like that. Okay? And then it makes it easier for people to attend the events because it's not one lone person trying to drive however many hours it is from here to there by themselves, right? You got a group of people working together to make that happen. So, whenever you do that, then it goes bottom up. Then the program is way more successful. Ward then becomes the regional area or the stake, and then it becomes a regional. Then those conferences, you go together as a group, you already know people. It is so hard. Maybe this is just my opinion. For a brand new, single adult person, maybe newly divorced or newly widowed or whatever, to walk into a dance, dark, don't know anybody, by themselves. This is why we do the temple trip first, then we go out to dinner, and then we do the dance. Because, not only that, we now fit in a mixture before the dance. Because we have found that not everybody can go to the temple. We have more people showing up for dinner. Most people can just get away from the kids or whatever for the evening. So we make sure that there is some way for people to mix and mingle before that dance hits. Because during that dance, you're going to be in someone's personal space, right? During a dance. Somebody you don't know. And it always helps to already know people. And you can go about it with whatever attitude you want to go about it. It can be fun, it can be intimidating, it can be overwhelming, it can be whatever. But if you go at it with the attitude of, I'm going to go make a friend. I'm going to leave here making a friend. That is so awesome. And to go about it without any expectations other than making a friend. Not in the back of your head going, oh, maybe I'll meet the one. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just going to make a friend. Going to bless somebody else's life. You're going to walk into a room to bless somebody else's life that night. I can't tell you how many times I have walked or been a part of an activity where more often than not, I have been able to help somebody else just in conversation. And that's been awesome. Just in making a friend and letting them know they're not by themselves, they're not alone. It doesn't have to be so lonely, it doesn't have to be so hard, and somebody else understands what they're going through. And it's really kind of cool that way. All right, we got a hand up. Let's see, hand up. Marley.
Hi guys.
Hey.
How's it going? So I think this is kind of like my first time on this chat, and I think I found you through Facebook. It's really inspiring, to be quite honest, because I've been a rep for my state for a while, and things get a little bit hidden. You know, people will come, and we do spend a lot of time. Then it's kind of like declining, where no one comes and nobody replies to text messages anymore. Right. So I feel that it's like exhausting for the committee to put all these things together, and then we have no attendance. So what advice would you share with me as far as like keep on doing the same things that we're doing? We started with a really strong group, try to put things together. We formed 4 states between, and I'm from South Florida. So knowing that you guys are so far away, I think maybe driving up there a long weekend isn't a possibility for me to try your activities, but it's not something that I'll be able to do every weekend. And many of us that we probably do. But I see Orlando area has a lot of items, and they do have a lot of activities happening. But my advice or my question now is, what can I keep doing? What should I do, like, to change, like, the outcome? Because a lot of people are not coming for the activities around.
Okay, and you said you're in Orlando?
I'm in Miami.
Miami. Oh, fun. Lisa Dutton. No, wait, she in Tampa? Miami. We lost one of my favorite state reps to Southern Florida, and she's either in Tampa or Miami. I can't remember. Lisa Dutton. If you get a chance to talk to her, I don't know how close you are to Tampa, but she would be a fabulous resource too. All right, so here's what I'd recommend. You said you had a farm group. About how many people were attending?
Probably at first when we started, it was probably about 30 to 45 people.
30 to 45 people. And now you're down to how many?
15.
18. Did any of them get married?
No.
Move?
A few of them.
Okay. Anybody go on missions?
No. No.
I call this the M&M group. Married, moving missions.
So we're pretty much looking into like 31 and over.
Right. Yeah. That's what we are.
The difficult market, I call it like a marketing. It's just like my difficult product, because at first we were really strong and a lot of people were attending, but now it's like it's fading off and it's declining, and it's kind of frustrating and also a little bit discouraging to keep on with doing things, because we plan activities and we plan for a lot of people to come in, and unfortunately they don't attend. Okay,
so you have 4 stakes, correct?
Yeah, 4 stakes.
Okay, and do you have the list of single adults, or for all the stake, or do you guys have stake reps there?
Right.
Okay, do you have the list of single adults from each stake?
Yes.
Okay, and they each average, what, about 1,000 each?
Probably.
Okay, and then have you gone through those lists to see who's active in those stakes?
We'll go in the process.
Okay, so right. So that's always sorry. My first recommendation is that you market, if you will, to the active single adults, the ones already attending church. That's like the low-hanging fruit, right? Feel easy to reach. And then what I want you to do is plan something consistent. Like every first Sunday, you're going to do a potluck fireside, or every second Saturday, you're going to do a temple trip and dinner, or every whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And then I want you to give it 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. I can't tell you how many times in my first 6 months, I was the only single adult in that temple session.
Okay.
Okay? You cannot give up after 2 or 3 months. You've got to give it 6 months. And then what I want you to do in that 6 months is, do you have a Facebook group?
Yes, we do.
How many Facebook groups do you have for those 4 stakes?
Members, or just one site, one Facebook account, and we post everything what we're doing.
Score. One Facebook group's awesome.
Yes.
Facebook. I don't need more Facebook groups to advertise to. It's good. All right. So in that Facebook group, what I want you to do is I want you to send messages to those active people.
Okay.
And I want you to say, hey, my name is, and I am the stake rep for, and I want to invite you to our Facebook group so that you can find out about the single adult events that we're planning.
Okay.
And give them the link. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then I want you to add them to an email list. I want you to email them your monthly newsletter, monthly list of activities, monthly whatever you do to announce what you're doing for the month.
Okay.
Then I want you, are you writing all this down? It's recorded if you're not. Then I want you to do a Facebook Live
Okay.
at least twice a month talking about that event.
All right. We haven't done that. Yeah,
And then I can teach you how off of this. And then within that 6 months, you watch that program grow, and I want to hear about it.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
So you advertise to your active people, because you can all work together later as a as a group to reach out to the less active people.
Right.
Also, if you can, reach out to the bishops to start the Come Follow Me study groups or the home evening groups. That will also bless your program as well. If they can do that on ward level. Okay?
Good.
And then from there, you stay consistent in that 6 months. Just choose one thing. Don't overload it. One thing.
One thing.
Potluck fireside, temple trip, dinner, dance, whatever you want to do, to choose one thing and stay consistent with it every month. When I started here in Athens, we did a potluck fireside every first Sunday, even Super Bowl Sunday, people. Every first Sunday, we were potluck fireside. They knew it was happening. They knew it was coming, and it started to grow. Okay? Now, everybody's different in what they can attend, different timing, whatever. So you pray about it. You work with your committee. You decide what that one thing's going to be.
Right.
And you stick to it.
Okay.
And I promise you, you're going to have more opposition. Oh, honey. You're going to be dealing with so much stuff in trying to create this. There will be times when the day of something's going to happen, and you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And you keep plugging along. You keep pressing on to make that happen. Okay?
Yeah.
I dealt with a broken toe on the second Saturday of the month. I had one of my cars go through one of my garage doors on the second Saturday of the month. I've had so many things happen on the second Saturday of the month. Nothing else on any other day. Just on the second Saturday of the month when I'm trying to get to the temple.
Okay.
But I was still there. Wasn't going to stop me. But anyway, you just keep pressing on. Any other questions?
No, I'm okay.
All right. Awesome. I can't wait to hear all about it. All right, Heidi. Heidi?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. I'm on the phone.
No.
Yeah. So our issue here is, and I didn't get to hear everybody because where I was driving through was really bad, broken up, and so most of y'all sounded like a robot that I couldn't understand. But I was just here right now. We don't have a stake rep. We lost her to another state calling. We've got a few like ward reps, but I really don't know who they are. And our thing is like, it's so spread out. Like our stakes are where we are so spread out. It's so hard to come up with a common area for us to meet. And several of us voiced this opinion because we're like, we got Hattiesburg, Petal, Oak Grove, Purvis, Sand Hill, like all these different areas. And we voiced like, why can't we have it at several different locations instead of just the same one? Because the drive to where they were doing it, it just, I mean, it's Sunday, you want to be with your family anyway, and you're tired, you've had a long week, and I'm not gonna lie, most of the times I didn't go because of that. And I was like, I'm tired of it being there. But anyway, that and money is an issue for like us to travel to single events. You know, we don't have a lot of singles here. Most of the singles are older. Like I'm in a very, very weird stage here. Like I'm 39, but like I'm almost the youngest one. You know, I'm in a really, really, really crazy stage. And not to mention, I feel like I'm 25, so that causes a problem too. But anyway, so money to like the Atlanta conference and then like the Southeast, whichever one y'all just had, like the money to get there, to travel. I am very intimidated by travel, especially if I have to travel by myself. I don't like to drive in different areas, and so I get very scared and nervous. And so if one of these other sisters don't go, I won't go, just because I don't want to have to drive or be by myself. And so if I feel like that, I wonder how many other people feel like that and allow that to hinder them. So my question is, I've heard, and I don't know for sure, and possibly you'll know this, Paula, that there is funding available to help singles participate in these conferences?
Yes, you go to your bishop.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, there have been many bishops to help people attend different conferences.
Okay.
Yep. Because we don't want money to be an issue. Sometimes, too, you can also contact the coordinators of the conference. And a lot of times they know of different donations or scholarship funds to help people as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my little just. We've tried. I started to become more active, and I started to go to the activities, and just like the other lady was just saying, the other sister that was just saying, like just the participation is so. It's just so low, and I just think one of the things that is happening too is like we're all being so attacked right now.
Amen.
Yeah, like we're all being attacked really bad. And no one is immune to this. Every single person, and especially every Christian person walking this earth, I feel like is being super attacked right now. And we're struggling and we're losing people. And it's just really, really hard right now. And unfortunately, the adversary's way and the world's way looks a lot funner and easy, and it is easier. And so I think we're losing people to that.
Right. So, so what I'm going to recommend for you is you can do something on a ward level, and like I just talked about a few minutes ago, and then also one where you can create an event right there in your area and just let everybody else know. Atlanta, I think in the YSA group years ago, maybe 20, 25 years ago, what they used to do is they would go from stake to stake. And that would be one where they would alternate buildings for people that were further away. So that is that. I mean, it's whatever is doable for you guys and works. That's fine, but definitely start by creating that nucleus, like I talked about before, and invite 1 or 2 people, 3 or 4 people, however many people that you know in your ward, or I don't know if you share a building with multiple wards or not, but definitely do that and try to be the catalyst that gets your area going. That's going to be just kind of huge, actually. So, all right. So Brian just said it just occurred to me, maybe we are still in the single adult program longer than we want to be because he wants us to bring more people into the program before we get to leave it. I think I've done my share, Brian. No, I'm just kidding. Apparently not, because I'm still here. I love that attitude, though. I always love whenever people say, well, that's just not my thing, or I'm not really into that. In a very nice way, I find a way to say, not in these words, but it's not about you. It's about what you bring versus what you take. And you're going to get out of something what you put into it. So if your attitude about it's all negative, you're going to get negative back. If you can go in there seeking out a friend that you can bless their life, because I'm going to tell you now, there's somebody in there that needs you, then, oh my goodness, what a difference that will make. And Elizabeth said, I made it a goal to speak with 5 people at every event and did it. That is awesome, Elizabeth. I totally love that. Brian is asking, Marley, do you know the rep for Tampa? The BYU game there is the same weekend as the Nauvoo conference. I was thinking about a single month activity before the far side and tailgate party before the game. Those that don't go to Nauvoo, woohoo! Hey, fun activity right there for you, Marley. You and Brian can collaborate on that one. Okay, yeah, they're already collaborating. We're good. Okay, awesome. All right, so got somebody's hand up. Kelly.
Okay, hey.
Hey.
I just had the thought about whether we're here longer than we're supposed to be or whatever, but I think that if we're in it if people think that it's just about finding your person, I just don't. I think that's where a lot of the hangups might come in. I just love it because I love the association with people who have common goals, common beliefs, moral standards, and like to have fun in the same way, understand each other. I've been single for 6 years, and I felt out of place for a long time, and I don't anymore.
Yay! I mean, not yet. You've been single for 6 years, but yay!
Yeah, I know.
Not a place anymore. I'm loving it. Loving it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I've been single almost 12 years. Actually, I've been single 12 years. So so I get that. I totally get that. Yeah. All right. So I want to address the whole because people that are everybody attends a single adult for different reasons. Everybody. You can say, hey, that's not what this is for. Not going to matter. Everybody goes for different reasons. Some people go, see what it is all about. Some people go because they just want to get out of the house, maybe away from the kids, and feel like what it felt like to be an adult again. Some people go because they want to make a friend, or they want some sort of a social life, and being a member of the church, we want to be around like-minded people, and so that's a good thing to do. And some people do go hoping to find someone and meet somebody to date or to find the one or whatever. I tell people though that if in your first 2, 3, 5 times attending, if you go with the expectation, at least on your first go around, of looking across the room, meeting eyes with somebody, and meeting your forever love, you're going to leave sadly disappointed 99.9% of the time. We do need to follow a certain we need to follow certain steps in creating a healthy relationship with someone again. And because we have been through different things, and we are a little older, most of us, and some of us have experienced more of life, it's not going to be the same way. It's not going to feel the same way as it did when we were 18, 19, 20 years old or whatever. Most people that feel like they need some instant connection or some love at first sight kind of thing generally do not stay in happy relationships when they experience that. Not saying that they don't, but it is extremely rare. So if you can go with the attitude of, I'm going to support this program, I'm going to make a friend, and I'm going to give it my all, and go about it through with prayer so that the Spirit can guide you, then you're going to get way more out of it than you ever thought. Your life's going to be blessed in more ways than you ever thought. I can honestly tell you, I never dreamed I'd be single this long. Just didn't even enter my mind. But I feel incredibly blessed by the friends that I have. I can't say that enough. I have more friends now than I think I've had in my whole life. So with that, I'm very grateful. Yeah, so I appreciate you bringing that up, because that is a topic that we do need to talk about, and that's okay. I do hope to be married again one day. I think a lot of us do, but not everybody does. And that's okay too. You know, again, we're all approaching this from different angles, different aspects, different perspectives, different goals. That's okay. I have friends that have been single for 20 years. Beautiful, amazing people. And you can say, oh, I hope that's not me. But I can tell you, they said the same thing. We all experience different things. We're all given different experiences in our life. We all have different choices to make. I love how, it was Heidi brought up a couple of weeks ago, how in all the personal development that we're doing, that it feels like we're what were the words? I think shortening the pool or whatever. Anyway, the pool to choose from is smaller. But we want that. We want to make sure that, if you felt like you had 50 choices, it's harder to choose. You know, you want to make sure that the people that you're preparing for are also preparing for you. And not everybody's going to be compatible with everybody. So I do believe there's somebody for everybody. I'm not a component of the soulmate thing. I'm not at all suggesting that. But I do believe that if we continue on living our best life as close to the Lord as we can and developing that relationship with Him, that our lives will be blessed. And it may not be in the time frame that we want it in. And it may not be the way that we think it should be. But I do believe it will be better. All right. Any other comments, ideas, questions? You guys are just so awesome. I'm loving all the comments tonight. Loving the participation. Anything else on the program that you like, don't like, want to see better? Any other ideas you have to offer? Because I'm open to ideas. Come on, I know some of you are talkers. You guys are all muted. Unmute.
And you added me to the panel.
I know, right? I gave you a lead in there, Win.
One of the things I remember doing when I was a ward rep and I was helping a state rep put together a conference, a thing that really went over well was we had a section of the day that was a service project where the men and the women all got together and worked on making clothing and quilts for children and putting together kits in various parts of the building. And it went over really well for our conference. Now, granted, that was quite a few years ago, like 16 years ago or so. But I haven't seen a lot of that going on. I did see it, I think, in Wilmington when we had a Wilmington conference. But I went to one other small service project in one of the states that I've gone to for single events. But I can only remember 2 that I have been able to attend in the last 16 years, other than the one we did at our annual conference.
Great. I'm loving it. We actually have at least one, sadly, don't have a lot more than that, a year here in Atlanta. And it is one of the least attended events that we have of the year. I totally agree, though, because I think service projects are the best. It's the least intrusive of personal space. It is the best way you can still talk to somebody working alongside them and just have conversation. The best way to make friends. It's the best way to, I don't know, it's just service always makes you feel better, right?
Right.
We are actually planning one in June. We're doing a mini conference, and instead of workshops in the morning, we are planning a service project because we are looking for ways to incorporate more service. And in the handbook, it does challenge us to do more service. To do gospel learning, service opportunities, and the sociality beyond our words. So we tend to focus more on the social stuff and gospel learning when we do Come Follow Me, temple trips, that kind of thing. But the service tends to kind of go by the wayside a lot. So I love that you brought that up. Marley, that might be something you guys could do too, is incorporate somehow a service project there. And people tend to focus service more towards the end of the year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think it's always great when we can incorporate it earlier in the year. Even going to a nursing home and singing, planting a garden, doing whatever, weeding flowers in the springtime. There's just so many different things to be done that we could do together as a service opportunity, and I think we do need to take advantage of that more. Thank you, Wynn, for bringing that up.
Well, I also think that we can do service for other singles. If we know who the inactive singles are in our wards and our states, we can actually reach out to them in a ministering way to do service single to single instead of just being assigned by the wards to be ministering elders and sisters.
I love it. And I'll tell you, I know that you brought up less active single adults, but I'd also like to include the active. I know, and the reason I say that is because I'm at church every Sunday. My kids are at church every Sunday. We're considered an active family in the church, so much so that we're ignored. I can go to church many weeks and hardly anybody says hello. I haven't seen a ministering angel in I don't even know how long. And because we're there, we tend to be more forgotten. We don't make the list for ward council because they're already there, right? They're good.
Right.
But
right. I'm experiencing that right now with my upcoming kids. I have a lot of needs that are not being met. I have to actually go and ask to get help. And sometimes I'm told, oh, well, call Uber. Well, you can't, I can't just call Uber. Uber doesn't work on my phone for some reason. And I can't book transportation unless I do it 2 days in advance to get to medical appointments. So with my upcoming surgery, I've got a lot of things I have to do with my house to prepare.
Right. But still, though, in situations like that, when you would need to go and ask, because, you know, unless you did have a ministry,
Right.
you come into
And I am addressing that, but what's happening is I don't necessarily get what I'm asking for.
Right. Well, yeah.
So if there were more singles involved in and active, I think I would get more help. Because the times when I have asked for help, it's been the two single adults that have come to help.
Okay. Well, again, though, service in general is something that I do think that we do need to focus on.
Right.
That we definitely need to bring to our committees as single adults, and that we can reach out to people. And I think that again, though, when we have that nucleus as a ward, more people are going to know, right? Like more
Right.
people will know what you're going through. You'll have those friendships, you'll have those bonds, and then there won't be as great of a need there. So I totally agree with that. It is different, though. It is different. So whenever you do look for service opportunities, though, just take into account. I love the idea of going to single adults first that have, you know, the yards. I don't know about you, but I grew up in a place where it was kind of a joy to go to an older lady's house and rake her leaves. And oh, the joy she felt.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, right? So,
Right.
so things like that, or going to weed the flower garden, or going to whatever. I like yard work, as you can tell. That's like,
Well, I've just lost my yard man. He's moving away. So,
okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be driving up there the wind. You get somebody else that loves yard work up there. But yeah. So definitely add that to your list of things to do. And the more service opportunities we have, I think the better. I know Clark, oh, what's his name? Clark. Oh my goodness, I can't even think of his name. Anyway, a dude here in Atlanta, very popular, has a radio show, and for the life of me, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he does a Habitat for Humanity house build, and like where we can come in as groups and be able to work on a house together. The daughter and the sister of a general contractor, so you know that appeals to me as well. But so you can get different service projects. You can go to, what is it, YServe? What is that new website that we have through the church? Oh my goodness, it's slipping my brain right now. But anyway, there's a website about, you know, to look for service opportunities that we can go to as well. And again, you can do that as a ward. You don't have to do that as a stake. You can just do that. Few people go to a soup kitchen, go to wherever. There's, oh my goodness, do you know something else you can do?
Just serve.
That I love. Just serve. Thank you.
Just serve.
yeah. Go to
YServe from
one of the VA hospitals and volunteer helping to push people around in their wheelchairs from one place to another.
There you go. I mean, there's so many things to do. One of the things, though, that we did that was very popular and that people loved, and I actually loved this as well, was, and I don't know if people are aware of this, but through the Bishop Storehouse, you can actually place an order for food to help feed the homeless. And we did this one year as single adults. Actually, it was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And we had arranged with a certain organization that fed the homeless lunch. And on the weekends, they wanted a bag lunch. So we gathered together on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we made sandwiches. And we made bag lunches. We did peanut butter and jelly because it was going to have to sit overnight. But we got the bread and the peanut butter and the jelly and all kind of stuff donated from the church. And we had to fill out an order. We did have to get, I think, a stake leader to approve it. It took about a month. So you do have to plan ahead on this. But we were able to go in and get the food to do this, and anything else that we needed that we added to the lunch, it just came out of our single adult budget. So we were able to go in, or I don't know, take that back. It didn't come out of, came out of some other budget with the state because they were supporting what we were doing because we were feeding the homeless. And then we got to go and deliver it and hand out those packed lunches. And oh my goodness, to see the looks on those people's faces. They just thought they had struck gold, you know? It was quite awesome. Another time with the same organization, we went and we did a hot lunch during the week. And we did the same thing. We went to the Bishop Storehouse. We got food donations. We did beef stroganoff with some canned veggies and whatever, because they had like the beef stew thing, and we made a gravy. Anyway, so it was just a beef stroganoff. And we were able to get everything from the Bishop Storehouse, and we went to their kitchen and we cooked it there and served it to them. And again, great, fabulous experience. My teenage kids even helped participate in that one. So that was just a fabulous experience. So that's an idea for a service project if you want to go do that one. Just know that that's available for you to do that. There are so many opportunities for us to come together as single adults. The list is just endless, quite honestly, especially for service. Oh my laws, there's so many ways you can serve so many people. Man, give me an idea and I'll just go run with it, won't I? So many experiences and things to talk about, so many ideas. All right, anybody else with something you like, you don't like? I haven't heard a lot about what you don't like about the single adult program, but that's all right. But anything you like or don't like, or any other ideas that you may have?
I don't like that everything is so far away from me.
Well, it starts with you, Wynn. You can make a difference.
I know, and I did make a difference with this last mega conference, but
Yay!
Right now I'm thinking I may need to move somewhere else.
Well, you can bloom where you're planted too, though, and then just try to make a difference there, like doing the Come Follow Me groups or the activity nights or the whatever.
Well, it's not so much because of the single adult thing, but because of the climate here in Buncombe County is one that they're driving out people that have lived here for a long time with property values and so forth.
Okay.
And
Well,
the house is not suitable to my futures.
Right. Okay.
Now.
Yeah. All right. So,
So Paula, I'm willing to talk about things I don't like.
okay, go right ahead.
I think that for me, the things that I don't like, I don't have any control over. So like if there's an activity that people are coming to and they have a bad attitude, I can't control that.
Right.
So I think that I don't like that part of it, but again, we can't do anything about that. So that's why I've not brought that up at this point, and it would be great in a perfect world that we never had anybody that felt that way when they came. But conversely, there have been times I've been there and people have not been having a good time. And then one little thing has changed and that has totally changed for them. So I think that what we have talked about today in great detail is it's what you put into it. And I think that the stick to itness that we've also talked about, like you said about the 6-month thing, I think that if we go to an activity and we're not having a good time, we just have to kind of push through it because it could change at any point. So,
yeah. And quite honestly, when people are having a bad attitude, I also try to remember that we don't know where they've been. We don't know what they've gone through. We don't know where they're coming from or whatever, They may have just found out something horrible that day that their kid's going through. They may have just be going through some crappy stuff in their life and not know really how to deal with it. And so they have found a safe place to go and spew their bad attitude out at, And I kind of think about that sometimes when I hear people coming up to me and complaining or whatever, and I think, I wonder what they've been through. I wonder what challenges they have faced or their own perspectives or whatever, because I deal with a lot of bad attitudes. And get a lot of messages that are not so nice. Some that are. The not so nice ones have ended as, they don't come as often as they used to, thankfully. But maybe because some of them have figured out she don't do nothing about that. But I'm just like, oh, bless your heart. And then we just go on. But no, it's just, no, seriously, it's just knowing that I was there one time, you know, when I went to a single adult event or many, and I was sad and I was sullen and I was just like feeling like crap and probably looking like it too. And I had been through some crap. And I didn't have a great experience. But yet there would still be people that would reach out to me and that would smile and that would be my friend, even though I wasn't able to give a whole lot back. So I think about that sometimes when those people are kind of grouchy and, you know, things aren't there this way and they we should do this and we should do that and why aren't you doing this? You know, I think, wow, you must be going through some tough stuff. And sometimes I'll just thank them for their feedback, give them a hug, keep going. If they're angry, I walk away because I don't have time for that. And that doesn't help. So, and I'll even tell them, like, I'm not having this conversation. You know, I'm out. So, it is a challenge. I mean, I get what you're saying with the bad attitude. I totally do, because I get it. I had a message recently from somebody that suggested to me that that if the purpose of our temple trips is to be more social, then why are we doing endowment sessions? Because we would have more interactions and have more opportunities to talk to people if we did baptisms or if we did sealings or that sort of thing. And this came through a message, not a conversation. And what I realized, and it was pretty long, but what I realized through that message was he was in a different place and didn't really understand the purpose of us going to the temple, because it's not a social event, but it's more of a way for us to be able to go together so that we're not going by ourselves, so that we can see familiar faces, so that we have somebody to stand in a prayer circle with, so that well, of course, we do leave it open. If people want to go do baptisms, initiatories, sealings, and endowments, we don't care where you go. We just want people going to the temple. We just gather in front as afterwards and you do a group picture. But we don't tell anybody they have to do this one thing. And there are people that will go and do other things, which is awesome. But either way, it just provides an opportunity and familiar faces to be able to go with. So yeah. Hey, Heidi, did you have something else you wanted to add? Heidi, did we lose?
I think Heidi left.
Uh-oh.
No?
What happened to Heidi? Okay. I still got the hand up. I don't know how to lower the hand. Okay. All right.
Yes, Paula, she said she left
Okay.
in the
Thanks.
comments. Mhm.
Okay. All righty. Thanks. Appreciate that. Now I gotta figure out how to lower that hand. But all right, so anyone else? I appreciate you bringing that up though, Jennifer, because that is something that we do deal with. We deal with people that are, I had a man one time at a conference send me a message during the Saturday morning workshops, an email actually. He just said he peeked his head in the window and didn't, not window, in the doorway during the workshops, because we were all in one big room, and he didn't see anybody his age, so he left. And I'm like, and he was a mid-single adult man. He was actually asking for a refund. I messaged him back, and because after the workshops, I had all the mid-single adults stand up and turn around and look at each other, and we had about a third of the people there that were mid-single adults or more. And I messaged him back and I said, we have at least a third of the people here that are mid-single adults. and no, you're not going to be able to get a refund, but you're welcome to come back and join us. And he did. So it's really something when people are coming at it from their perspective and they see what they can see, you know. So
Oh, the reason why I brought it up is I don't typically struggle at conferences, and I really struggled
I know.
down in Charleston. And so it can happen to even people that love the program and that really enjoy themselves. And that's exactly what happened. I had some really bad news from home, and I really struggled to put myself out there. And I'm so mad at myself because I looked forward to this conference for so long, and I wasn't giving it my all. And because I didn't give it my all, I didn't get as much out of it as I wanted to. The friendships, I was not putting myself out there like I normally do, and that kind of thing. So that's why I brought it up. It doesn't necessarily, it's not just the new people that are affected by that. It's people that have been in the program and that thrive in the program that still can have an off day or whatever. So that was why it was important for me to bring that up.
I love it. I love it. And I tell you, I battled my attitude that weekend too. My committee will tell you that one because I didn't hide it too much from them.
I had issues with mine as well. I was challenged to get there, and I was challenged while I was there. And as a result, I plan on going back. I plan on going back to Charleston the weekend of the 13th to the 16th.
Well, there you go. Awesome.
To repeat the things that didn't go the way I wanted them to at the conference.
Yep. There you go. But Jennifer, though, whenever you got bad news, honey. I mean, it's like, and we do go through those stages of grief, and it's not like we can just shove it aside and act like it's all good, you know. So that actually tells me that you dealt with that in a healthy way, because you were still showing up. You were still there, and that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, but I didn't participate like I normally did. Like I'm usually on the dance floor the whole time, and you know, it just I missed out on a lot because I just couldn't get past it. But it wasn't bringing it up for me. I'm just pointing out that it doesn't matter how long we've been in the program. We all have off days. We all have the inability to feel like we're fitting in because, you know, I'm challenged with feeling like I fit in because I do have to travel from so far to go and participate in these things. And, you know, I feel like that while I typically do a really good job, and I have been doing this for a while, I can still very easily fall prey to that.
Right.
And I'm just saying it's a pitfall that we all have to be very careful of. Could I have handled things differently? Yes. Could I have just talked about it to people instead of allowing myself to be in the place I was in? Of course. But there's that whole comfort thing that we have to get to. I mentioned it to a couple of people that I'm comfortable with, but then we're back to that whole nucleus thing. It's this cyclical thing that we have to kind of get through. And, you know, I don't want the folks that are new to the process to feel like it's just them that are feeling this. We all have vulnerability issues that we have to get through every single time.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I agree with Jennifer. Traveling long distances to go to these things takes a lot out of it, especially when we get older.
Yeah.
And
but Jennifer, thank you so much for being willing to share that, and that really, I know that's going to help so many people. Thank you.
I appreciate it. You're always so sweet to me, Paula.
I think she's sweet to everybody, Jennifer.
I like to believe it's just me.
When so sweet to me.
I want to meet her too because I think she's awesome.
When I do have some people that will tell you I'm not too sweet to them.
Paula, you have a fan club.
No, apparently, right? Thank you, ladies. You're awesome.
I'm a member of it.
Thanks. I appreciate you. All righty. So I love how you guys are sharing, though, and opening up. It really helps, and I hope that it's helping those watching this and listening. And participating. It has been really just such a great learning experience for me to be able to, just be a part of so much in helping the program, or being a part of it anyway. But you're right. I mean, the bad attitude. Oh, honey, people who know me well, there were times when I go, let's paint on the smile and keep going. It is a challenge sometimes to just, no matter how long we've been in it. I love that. All right. Anyone else that hasn't shared yet? Anyone else? Or any if you have. Wait, who? Is it Marion? Did you want to share? There's somebody. Elizabeth?
Yeah, Paula, I just wanted to say thank you to you for keeping going through this and for starting this webinar and everything. It's been, I don't know, life-changing, maybe a little over the top, but it really, for me, has been fantastic because I'm a relatively new member. I divorced shortly after I became a member, and there are so many things about the church I don't know. So finding the single adults program has just been a real blessing in my life, and I haven't been able to do nearly as much as I hope to over the next few months, but just thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. I tell you, I feel like I have a place where I belong, having gone through all that I've gone through and being single in the church. It would be hard. I can't even imagine my life without the single adult program. I wouldn't want to have gone through all I've gone through. I mean, not that my words aren't wonderful and the people there are fabulous, but they don't know. They don't understand. They can't even comprehend what I've been through. And, so I just want to be able to help other people. I want other people to have a place to belong, where they feel like they fit in, where they feel like they belong, Some friends. We all need friends. Don't want to feel like you're alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else want to share? Anything else you don't like about the single adult program? Anybody?
Okay, I can't keep my mouth shut if there's silence. So,
Okay.
For so long, I felt bad that, people, members don't understand us. They don't understand where we're coming from. Maybe they think we did something wrong or whatever. Those are just all things that I was projecting on myself. I didn't, nobody actually said anything. It's
Right.
the self-conscious thing. But I just feel like it's such a blessing and a relief to be with a group of people that know where I'm coming from, and I know where they're coming from. And I mean, I'm so grateful to the church for seeing the need for this program. And because everybody needs a place. And I mean, who none of us would have thought that it wouldn't be with our kids and grandkids and spouse, and so it's just and I know that we've all felt lost to begin with, because this is a family church. And it's nice to have family now.
Yeah, right. I love it. Thank you. All right. So is there anything else that tell me what you like and don't like about a dance? Let's be more specific instead of the program. Let's talk about those dances.
I vote for way more slow songs.
Oh, hey, all right. I'm with you. I like
I like me some
double
cuddling now.
that, more slow dances.
And I'm thinking I like the other ones because then you can dance with women and you don't have to find a guy. The slow ones, it's kind of weird when women dance together.
Well, yeah, but we want to get more guys on the floor.
Okay. What else do you like or don't like about dances? Now, I would tell you on those slow songs, we've actually had people complain when the DJ plays 2 slow songs in a row.
Well, alternate slow and fast. And can we get some new songs? I've been hearing the same songs for 10 years now.
Take that up with a DJ, and most DJs actually have a request sheet. Go request some newer songs. That's what I'd love to say on that one. Because I'm all, can you go request something else?
So one of the things that I would like to point out is that if there's a lot of slow songs and you're not getting asked to dance, one of my rules is I never sit on a slow song. So if somebody hasn't asked me, I ask them. Because we're all just there to be friends. We're not asking them to marry us. We're just asking them to dance.
I love that. Never sit on a slow song. I love that, Jennifer. We should make a banner at a dance or something.
I agree with that. I had a guy that I had been dancing with at events for 2 or 3 years. And when we had the Hawaii dance, Paula, the guy walked into the room and I asked him to dance. And he looked down at me and he said, "You're too old for me." And I said, "It's a dance, not a date. I'm not asking you to marry me. I only want to dance."
Yeah.
And with me.
Okay. Again, no, he was there for a different purpose, obviously. Okay.
Obviously.
So that's all right. That's all right. He wanted to save his slow songs, I guess, for other people. That's all right. Never sit on a slow song, though. Let's keep that in mind as much as we can, because I will tell you, even if every man's up dancing, there'll be still some women sitting. So be one of the first ones to go ask somebody else to dance. It won't
I was just getting ready to say, you gotta beat them to the punch.
There you go.
You're gonna have lots of women like racing out to the floor to get all the men.
I know, right?
During the dance.
Do what?
Switch partners during the slow dance.
I don't know if I want to do that either. No.
If I can get one to dance with me when I'm not giving him up.
I know, right? For real.
The most fun I ever had at a dance was when I was having my balance issues really bad, and I had to have somebody actually hold my hand to get me to the floor. And then he took my hand and gave it to another man, who then handed me to another man, who then handed me to another man.
Oh my goodness.
Until I said, "I'm ready to sit down."
There you go. There's some fun. Awesome. That's great. All right,
so bold to ask the men to chime in.
That would be awesome. I think we got a couple of them here. I know I've seen Fred and I've seen Roger.
Want me to talk?
Yes, I want you to talk.
I know Fred's got.
I got 3 men. Go ahead, Roger.
You know, there was a dance that I missed last year. It was the Sadie Hawkins dance. And I really, really didn't want to miss it, but I had other commitments. But I like what Jennifer said. While, you know, we kind of socially, we expect the guys to be the ones to ask to dance. Hey, let the women know. It's, you know, there's nothing wrong with asking a guy, in my opinion. And the only other thing I would say is, and it's because I'm hard of hearing sometimes, the music is just kind of hard to have a conversation with sometimes. But other than that, that's the only comment I have.
I've actually had to go to the DJ a couple of times and go, it's too loud. I got to be screaming at the person next to me for them to hear something of what I'm saying. We got to turn that down a little bit. So they have done that. So that was good.
Paula,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Sadie Hawkins dance that Roger missed. And nobody asked me to dance.
I did too.
Except for you, Paula. Except for you. Nobody asked me to dance, and I thought I would just stand there in the middle of the floor. And I thought, well, this is Sadie Hawkins. I guess I'm a outcast or what?
Does that mean the next time I ask you to dance, Fred, you'll actually say yes?
I think I've always said yes to you.
No, you said no to me one night, and I wondered what was going on.
Okay, all right. When? That's not for here.
I was having a bad night. I didn't dance with anybody that night.
I'm not taking it personally.
All right, yeah.
I do remember the first dance that I went to a long time ago, a few years ago. And a lady asked me to dance, and I think it was the first one I went to, and I was standing against the wall, and I thought, no, I don't want to dance right now, but thank you. And then she says, what did you come to this for? I said, well, I'm just not ready at the moment. That was the first time I'd been to a dance, I think, since I think it might have been the first time.
Yeah.
Only like 4 years ago. I've been hiding. I hid a long time before I decided to come to those things.
Right.
I had the same experience. The first event that I went to, a young lady asked me to dance. I was sitting there at a table and having a group conversation, and I guess at that time has it ever been a tradition that everybody that's on the dance floor has to go out and find somebody and get them up?
We have done a snowball, yeah.
Yeah, and shocked the living daylights out of me, but it kind of got me out of my shell.
Well, this lady was younger than me, and I wanted to say, I have a daughter your age.
You say that to a lot of us, though, Fred.
What?
You say that to a lot of us.
What's wrong with dancing with younger people?
No, it's not. It's not. Fred's joking.
If I could only dance with people my age, I would be pretty limited. Everybody's younger than me.
And that's what it seems, but it's really not. Believe it or not, we have a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, and sometimes their 70s, but more 50s and 60s that attend our dances. We have a mid-single adult group too. Don't want to scare you people off. We have a mid-single adult group too that comes in, and it's awesome. So we generally have a very good age range in our dances. There's some.
Well, you got to think about something.
In their 80s.
Hold on, man. What's up, Fred?
You got to think about something. This age thing needs to be eliminated. And maybe I'm the wrong one to be saying this.
No, I was going to say.
But President Nelson's wife is how many years younger than him?
Quite a few.
And President Oak's wife is how many years younger than him?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
And how many times have you said, I need to find somebody closer to my age?
Well,
you're
not
being fair here.
The only gentleman that I have yet to find that I had anything in common with, he was 15 years older than me, and he told me I was just a kid until he wouldn't have anything to do with me. I mean, we're friends, but anyway, I think age is a state of mind.
Well, sure. And we can talk about that kind of thing at a later webinar, which would be an awesome topic. Maybe we can talk about that next week.
I'm not coming to that one.
Yeah, you are, Fred. You're going to be like my number one panelist on that one. So fun. You're so fun, Fred. So anyway, but the Sadie Hawkins was a concept that I know we created. We didn't create Sadie Hawkins. That we planned. To incorporate that, because there are a lot of men that feel a lot of pressure on asking a woman to dance. And Fred and Roger have both talked about their first experience with a dance and how they were like, wait a minute, let me just, get the feel for this rather than jump right in kind of thing. It's kind of like getting your feet wet first. So we do the snowball at our conference, isn't it? Roger, I think that was the first time you were there, right? Wasn't it our conference?
Yes, that was Lake Lanier conference last August.
I was thinking that was about the only time we normally do a snowball is at our conference. So yeah, that would be just a great way to kind of get things going and get things moving along. So there are some people bringing up karaoke and a game room and that kind of thing, and we have incorporated those as well. That does help at a dance to be able to break that up. I've seen it where people do separate rooms of games or karaoke, and I've also seen it where people do other things. Dennis, did you want to talk?
I just wanted to ask a question.
What's that?
Well, is there a way to get on a list or find a list of people that are single in my stake or in my ward?
Through your state clerk or your ward clerk. They can provide you a single adult list if you want to reach out to them to try to do a home evening group or come follow me group or whatever. Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Great idea.
You can do a custom list that way. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you.
Not a problem. Happy to help on that one. I wish everybody would do that. Actually, I just got a message, I think it was last week, week before, somebody doesn't, as far as I know, she doesn't have a calling, but she sent me a picture of a list she had gotten, I think, ward clerk, state clerk. I don't know if she got a state list or ward list, but anyway, she got a list. And she had been reaching out to people. And she had let me know how many people she had reached out to and that sort of thing. And I was like, you go, girl.
That's exactly what I wanted to do, yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. I definitely, because you don't have to have a calling. That's what so many people think. Oh, we don't have the reps. We don't have the whatever. You don't have to have a calling to reach out to people and make a friend. You don't have to have a calling to invite people over to play games at your house. You don't have to have a calling to create a come follow me study group on a Sunday afternoon after church. You don't have to have a calling to invite people to go see a movie together or whatever else, right? That is just you being a friend and you reaching out to people that are also single, that also, want to do something or maybe whatever.
I have a calling, but it's teaching 13-year-olds, so it's not really, helping me out any in this situation.
Yeah, right.
Is my picture not coming up?
No, not right now. Hold on, let me see. Okay, and I got Rita and Pat. Did you guys want to say something?
Well, I was just thinking as you talked about, stepping outside of your comfort zone, really this is what the ministering program is all about. We don't need to be called to do those things, just like you were saying. That's all I got.
Thank you, Pat. And there you're hearing from a man. Just big into that. And then Rita, am I saying your name right? Somebody else had their hand up.
I did.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Kelly? I just was going to go back to the karaoke thing that was mentioned. That pre-party in Charleston or at Charleston, that was a great mixture of dancing and karaoke, I thought. Because, we could dance while people were singing karaoke. And, I don't know. I just thought it worked out real well. And we got to hear Paula's voice, too. So, and Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of karaoke. We're doing some karaoke also in Atlanta.
Nice.
At the conference there, and I think we're doing karaoke next month at the Atlanta activity at the dance. So, we kind of like karaoke here. So, it's kind of awesome. All right. Anyone else have any other? Okay, can any of you, especially the men, have any comments on what it is like to approach a dance for the first time or even after you've been going for a while? Any thoughts or feelings on that? Any advice you could give us as women? Nicely.
and I'll go back to Fred's comment. You know, the age thing is, they're right about the age thing. You know, you got to kind of throw that out the window. But, you know, there are times when I feel like I'm dancing with my daughter.
Yeah. Well, is that a problem?
It's not a problem for me, but I sometimes wonder how it's perceived.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting. Anybody have any questions for any of the guys?
I can kind of see that, how that might work if you were only dancing with women your children's age and nobody else, if you were just exclusive. So it might look like, oh, you know, yeah, we know what what he's looking for. I don't know, that sounds bad, but yeah. So I think as long as you're, you know, you don't stick with just those younger women. I don't think anybody, I don't think it looks like, of course, I'm one that doesn't really care what people think most of the time anyway, but.
So there was a man that is in our area. He's getting married next month, but he would only dance with women that were younger than him, and he earned quite a reputation because of it. So yeah, there are some that are like that, but that's okay. It worked out for him in the end. It's just, you know, it's what it is.
There were some younger women at some other conferences besides yours that were making complaints about multiple older men that were asking younger women to dance, and I had spoken with one of them, and he said that his intention was simply to make everybody feel welcome. He felt obligated because of his priesthood to make sure that each woman got to dance.
Yep.
And his intentions were good, and the younger women were taking offense at it because they thought he was hitting on them when he wasn't.
Right. And believe it or not, the majority of men are that way. They just want to make sure that women get to come to a dance and not have to sit there not being asked to dance all night long.
Right.
And not every man. I've known a few men that do that, and I think that's awesome. I've tried to raise my boys to do that. I think that's just a very great trait to have, a great characteristic, or whatever you want to call it, to go and do that. But there are women who feel like they're being hit on because they got asked to dance. I'm going to tell you now, ladies, you're not being hit on because you're being asked to dance. They're not hitting on you. Most of the time, they are 99.9% of the time. I'm not going to say 100% of the time. 99.9% of the time, they are just there to just make sure that you have an opportunity to dance. They are just there for the dance. It is rare, and I've only known of one that had any other intentions. The other guys are just, like Roger said, feeling like, you know, it's a father dancing with a daughter, and it's just to dance. That's it. So, you know, and then there are, what I've also learned though is that a lot of people make assumptions based on things. Different, like there, you know, we love to watch people, and a lot of people do anyway. I know I do. I'm a people watcher, so I like to do that. But there are people based on that will make assumptions about other people. For instance, I've had several people that will say, well, Paula, you're out there dancing all the time and you're having so much fun. You must have a ton of dates. And my friends, yeah, see, my friends would be laughing. They'd be like, oh, no, girlfriend. Paula's just out there having fun, right? Because, and I think a lot of people, based on those assumptions, make it so that then, you know, it just doesn't necessarily happen. And so remember, you don't want to read in too much to these dances. You don't want to read in too much to somebody asking you to dance, or if somebody out looking like they're having a lot of fun or whatever. Don't try to read too much into it. Sometimes it is just a night to get away. It is, you know, me dancing with people I've known for years, and, you know, or everybody dancing with people they've known for a while, or whatever. So with the dances, just know that dances do. There are people that do attend with some apprehensions, with some inhibitions, with some anxieties, and there are people that feel nervous about dancing certain songs, not comfortable dancing certain songs. Fast, slow, salsa, whatever. Maybe they're not getting the beat on that one, and it's just not a great song for them. Don't take it personally. And just go to make a friend, go to have fun, go to be part of our group that is trying so hard to create an opportunity for you to feel a part of something and to be a part of something that was meant for you. Well, we are all single at the same time, for whatever reason. Let's come together and be friends. Let's come together and support each other and encourage each other and uplift each other when we're down, when we've had bad news from home, when we're having a crappy day, when we're going through a crappy time in our life or whatever, okay? We can be there for each other, even if it's at a dance or through a temple session or whatever else. One of my very good friends, and she's now married and we don't get to talk as much as we used to, but I will never forget one of those temple sessions that I went through. I actually went into the celestial room, and I think it was one of those where I was by myself or maybe one or two other people or something, and I'd had a really bad morning with one of my sons. I have a son with Asperger's, and he was going through a really tough time during his teenage years. And this was a few years back. And I just remember having such an awful morning, so much opposition trying to get to the temple. But I made it, but very emotional. And in the celestial room, I just started crying a little bit. And this woman, I barely knew her. I don't remember if I had met her before then. Maybe I knew who she was. I don't even remember. She came up to me and hugged me. And didn't get just an 8-second hug. That was at least a 60-second hug. That woman held me. And I sobbed. And I sobbed. And I sobbed till I had a hard time breathing, until I couldn't cry anymore. And she just held me. I don't know why she was prompted to do that. We never really discussed that. But because of that experience, we were bonded as friends. And still to this day, we could get together and act like we've seen each other every day for the last 2 years. And she's just a wonderful woman. But I needed her in the temple that day. And had she not chosen to go, I don't know that I would have had that support that I needed that day. So she was there for me. And why I just shared that with you, I don't know. But I did. Maybe you can reach out to someone and, in the temple or wherever that may need a hug, that may need some extra support because they just had a crappy day or going through a tough time in their life and they need your support. So if you can approach the single adult program with what you can give, what you have to offer, versus what you're going to take from it, I think you're going to get a lot more out of it. I think that you'll have a different mindset toward it, and you'll feel more blessed, and you'll enjoy it more, and you'll have so many more friends, because there's some wonderful, fabulous, great people, as you can see, that we've heard from today, and so many others that we know. They're just great people. So with that, I'm going to ask, does anyone else have anything else you want to add? All righty. Well, I love you guys. I think you're awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your Sunday evening with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. I hope that everybody watching this and has been having participated in this got something out of it. And can we just say, I'll see you at the next event? Bye-bye. Have a good one.